Well, it turns out winter is not in fact over, as 2 feet of snow could be moving in over the next few days. Before we get started on that, I will say I make these forecast videos every single day, so if you enjoy following the weather or you end up enjoying this video, you can subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's dive into my screen here and look at the jet stream, because it's really the jet stream that explains the exciting weather that we're going to be seeing over the next few days and into the weekend. And it all starts with this huge dip in the jet stream that you see and this cutoff low sitting off of Southern California. This is going to first bring exciting weather to the west, and then it's going to get pulled into this jet stream over the northwest and into Canada, and then bring some exciting weather to the northeast later in the weekend. So watch this cutoff low here as I click through. It really hangs out and it actually intensifies. Right here you can really see those strong winds pulling in that warm tropical Pacific moisture right into Southern California and Arizona, where there is some flooding possible associated with this one. And then watch what happens as this gets pulled into the jet stream. Notice right here the coloring. Basically everywhere just has those purples and those reds. That actually indicates not that strong of a jet stream. You want to start looking out for these yellows coming in. When you see those, that means it's looking at maybe 145 knot winds, and this is the jet stream, so that's way up in the sky. But if there's that much energy higher up in the atmosphere, there is a ton of energy at the surface, and we're going to see that with the lows and the low pressure and storms that move through the Midwest and Northeast come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then watch what happens on the left part of the screen. This giant dip in the jet stream comes moving into the northwest on about Saturday and just continues to dig farther and farther south, forming a giant dip in the jet stream that is going to be right over California on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And wait till you see what happens associated with that one. East Coast, basically the entire eastern part of the country at this point, completely flat isobars, which indicates no exciting weather in the forecast for you guys come the start of next week. So let's check out what's going on in California. Hopefully all my East Coast viewers haven't just clicked away right now, but there is some exciting weather going on, so this is the big story for today. Right now, we're getting some rain in Southern California and Arizona. That's actually big news because it basically did not rain the entire month of February. So it's good to see some rain finally coming in. So come wildfire season, it's not just absolute mayhem. So rain dropped from basically going to drop all day today in Southern California and Arizona. And then remember that low just kind of sits and hangs out and then actually re-intensifies. Well, when it re-intensifies, you can see it right there. That's going to bring some really heavy rainfall to Southern California and Arizona, getting into the maybe 0.2 inches per hour range. And then that's really not just going to move east. That's actually going to move up and combine with that other huge dip in the jet stream that we saw moving in Saturday, Sunday. It's going to bring some snow to places like Utah and Colorado. And then watch what happens Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for California. Start to see the snow show up. There hasn't been a lot this entire winter. So I know all my buddies who snowboard are going to be pretty excited with this forecast. That snow starts to move in Saturday at about 1 p.m. and then it just continues from that point on. Looking at Saturday at about 7 p.m., you see those heavier snowfall rates start to build into the Sierra Nevadas. And then they start to build in even farther, moving a little farther south, as that low is just sitting right over Nevada. And right over Tahoe, for that matter. You start to see those really heavy snowfall rates building in throughout the day on Sunday. This is Sunday at 7 a.m. and that is about as high snowfall rates as you're ever going to see anywhere. And it continues all the way from Saturday to Sunday throughout Monday. We're still getting it. Extremely heavy rates throughout Monday, and that's why the snow accumulations with this one are going to be so awesome, is because the low doesn't just move off, it hangs out for a number of days. It finally moves into Nevada on about Tuesday, so 2 to 3 days of snow for California with this one. And once you see the accumulations, you're going to see that this is going to be a big one. First, I will show how much accumulated rain is going to come into Southern California and Arizona. 3 inches in some places. That is most likely going to lead to some flooding because the soils in these regions aren't built for a lot of rain. So when they get 2 to 3 inches, that's most likely going to lead to some flash flooding. The real exciting thing though, that snow forecast, especially for the Sierra Nevadas. Watch what happens as I click through. So this is starting Friday at 7 a.m., showing how much snow is building up over a 24-hour period. You start to see it build into Utah, getting maybe 4 or 5 inches. I'm sure if any East Coast people are still watching, you're going to be pretty darn jealous when you see what's going to show up in California in just a couple of days here. See 5 to 8 inches building into Utah and Colorado. That goes up to maybe a foot by Saturday. So this low really hits Utah and Colorado first. They're going to get maybe a foot of snow, and then you start to see it build into Northern California and then work its way into the Sierra Nevadas. Get maybe 5 to 8 inches in the more northern parts of the Sierra Nevadas by Saturday at 7 p.m. So that's when the real bulk of this is coming in, is later in the period, but it starts to come in throughout the day Saturday. And then right here, once you start Sunday at 1 a.m., those heavy snowfall rates started showing up, so the accumulations come with it. Already a foot by Sunday at 1 in the morning, and that's just the start. By about Sunday at 7 a.m., we're up to about 1.5 feet of snow, and then by Sunday at 1 p.m., 2 feet of snow. So really on Sunday, we're going from no snow to 2 feet of snow. Sunday is going to be an awesome day if you are a skier or snowboarder and live in California or Nevada, or have the ability to drive. Which, yeah, you're probably going to want to drive because I don't know if I'd trust getting on a flight right now with the whole coronavirus scare. Then it continues. Doesn't just stop on Sunday, continues throughout Monday, and it actually starts to move farther south as well. You see, still 2 feet of snow, so you're still picking up large amounts of snow throughout Monday, getting basically 2 feet all the way down the entire Sierra Nevadas. From NorCal almost to Mammoth, going to be 2 feet of snow. And then it really starts to work into Nevada on Monday and Tuesday, where it could be about 1 foot of snow in the more higher elevation and colder places. And man, that is an exciting forecast. You see, even Arizona is going to be getting 1 foot of snow with this one. I'm sure all you East Coasters just hate me right now showing you this forecast. All right, let's move into the Northwest because there's also some exciting stuff happening up there as well. You see Washington getting a little snow on Friday, but that's just really the start of it. You're going to see this low down here combine with the low that's moving into the upper Northwest. And it's basically going to just bring snow to the entire region. You see all of Washington covered in snow on Saturday, parts of northern Montana getting that snow Saturday at about 1 a.m. And then the heavy rates associated with this low off the Oregon coast start building into the Oregon-Washington border at about 7 in the morning on Saturday. And then high snowfall rates building into Idaho as well. That low moves off into Montana, and then you start to see those heavy rates show up in California. But it's also interesting to look at the snow forecast for the Northwest. The big thing about this is it doesn't just move off. It really just hangs out in the west for basically the entire weekend and into Tuesday, where we start seeing on Sunday at about 7 a.m. some heavy rates moving into eastern Idaho and Montana. And then that really continues throughout the entire start of the week. Through Tuesday, still getting snow in this whole area. How much snow are we going to get? Well, let's check it out. Let's click through. You see by Saturday at about 7 a.m., Montana's picked up about 8 inches of snow, as well as parts of Washington and some select areas in Oregon. And then it just continues to build in. This is again showing how much has accumulated in a 24-hour period. So moving into Sunday, that bullseye we saw in the Cascades or Washington-Oregon border, that's going to be about a foot of snow right there. And then, wow, that 2 feet of snow in California, I can't stop looking at it. Eastern Idaho, you could be getting 5 to 8 inches as well with this one. And some select spots in Montana and very northwestern Wyoming as well. Pretty awesome forecast if you are a snow lover and live in the West. Again, I said though, the jet stream really explains this pattern because first it brings all this exciting weather to the west, and then it's going to bring a bunch of exciting weather to the east. Not as exciting, but something. So watch this jet stream again as it combines into that jet stream that was over Canada to bring all this energy to the Midwest and then eventually the Northeast. So moving into the Midwest, we see right now, I have to mention this because it is going on right now, there is some snow building into Wisconsin. Not all that much, but it's something. Then that snow is going to hit Michigan. Not the craziest snowfall rates. It's not like those purples that we saw in California, but it's something. Have to mention it. And then that real powerful jet stream shows up on about Thursday at 1 p.m. And you'll see there's the southern part of this low and the northern part, and then it's just going to combine and move through the Midwest, bringing actually some heavy rainfall to parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and some lighter rainfall for Wisconsin and Michigan. That's going to move through. But first, let's take a look at the accumulated snowfall associated with that one little batch of snow that we saw move through Wisconsin right now. Going to be maybe getting 2 to 3 inches associated with that one. And they barely even have accumulation showing up for Michigan. Maybe half an inch of snow associated with that 1 inch in the very northern parts. But let's see if you get any snow with that system that moves in on Friday. Nah, it's just too north. And then with that big low that originally hit the west, you see a strip of it just go right through Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio on Sunday into Monday. It'll be interesting to see if any of that gets into the Northeast. Well, let's look at the Northeast. So right now, not really anything going on in the way of precipitation. One little rain shower in Pennsylvania throughout the day today. And then the real action starts showing up on Friday morning. But again, it's too warm. Winter, I would say, pretty much is over for the Northeast. It's still going on in California, but for the Northeast, it's just too warm. I think New York and Boston were 72 degrees 2 days ago, and those warm temperatures are going to continue throughout the next few days. But look at that. Some heavy rainfall for the eastern parts of New York on Friday at about 7 a.m. And then a little bit of snow building into New Hampshire, and then some actually higher snowfall rates building into northern Maine on Friday at about 1 p.m. Rain in the southern part of the state, that's because you got that warm water right here. So that's going to keep this area a little too warm. But the northern parts of the states get those purple rates that we saw in California. Northern Maine could be picking up some good snow with this one as well. And then that one is gone. The big story about that one, though, is actually going to be the wind. Remember that jet stream where you could just see the energy light up? It turns into those yellows, which is about 150 knots. Well, that's going to bring a lot of wind to the surface. So if you're doing a St. Patrick's Day parade on Saturday, you're going to want to watch out for the wind. I also probably wouldn't go because of the coronavirus, but if you do go, it's going to be windy, maybe 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, and that's associated with all that energy in the jet stream. So this low that is just north of the Northeast, it has the energy, it has the potential, but it's just way too far north, and the Northeast is just way too warm. You see parts of New York, Massachusetts, into the 40 to 50 degree range, and then there's that one strip in Maine and building into New Hampshire where temperatures are still below freezing throughout Friday, just barely below freezing. But yeah, the big story with that one, the winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour. And looking at the rain that you're going to get, it's not all that much. So maybe the eastern parts of New York where we saw those higher rates building in, maybe getting an inch of rain with this one, probably 0.2 to 0.3 throughout most of the Northeast. And then Maine, you could get 5 to 8 inches of snow with this one. Again, that's moving through Friday, Saturday. I will continue to give updates as this storm progresses. Who knows? Look at that bullseye up north. If that could move a little farther south, you could maybe see a big snowstorm with this one. I'll keep you updated, and you could subscribe to Holt Hanley Weather for daily forecasts. Thanks for watching.